Those guys are incredible. And, you know, the main event absolutely positively did not deliver. You know, Nate Marquardt is such a talented guy, and, you know, and what I'm seeing is, seeing, you know, stuff from the Greg Jackson camp, you know, this camp continuously. You know, when these guys fight, their corners either telling them that they're ahead or they're winning or whatever the deal is, and then Nate Marquardt sat there tonight and, you know, he thought he won the fight. Well, where the fuck is this corner? You know what I mean? You go into the last round and you're getting outstruck by a wrestler, and you know, and you think you won the fight. And this is consistent with the Greg Jackson camp.
Dana, I'm sorry to butt in. Do you think that has anything to do with the fact that there was a lot of pressure on this fight, the fact that it was a title elimination bout? Do you think that played in at all?
Listen, these guys are both professionals who've been around for a long time, man. The first time I ever saw Nate Marquardt fight was 10 years ago when we first bought the UFC up in Northern California. He was the king of pancrase back in Japan. This dude's been in the game for a long time. You already blew a title shot once. You're in a fight for the title shot again in the third round, and you're not throwing any punches or kicks. You know, it has nothing to do with pressure. You're either professional and you're going to go out there and go after it in that last round to try to get your title shot. You know,
you don't think it got to him though. I mean, the fact of the matter is, it can affect you. Being as highly billed as a contender fight this fight actually was. You don't think it got to him just a little bit?
So the question is, are you asking me, is he a choker?
Absolutely not. I would never do that. I know how good. I know he said it in the.
I'll answer yes. I'll say yes, he is a choker. He choked tonight.
He always said it in pre-fight interview. When Nate Marquardt fights at his heart out, he can beat anybody in the world.
I agree. But he doesn't in the big fights, man. You know. And I listen. You couldn't meet a nicer fucking guy than Nate Marquardt. He's a great guy, nice kid. Choked tonight.
You feel disappointed at all?
Yeah, of course I do. You know, when we come in and we you know, you put these guys on a headliner to go after the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, and the main event looks like that, it's very disappointing.
A different question, you know, totally. This is the second time you guys invaded Germany. The UFC's invaded Germany. No pun intended whatsoever. Prior to that, you've been to Australia, you've been to Abu Dhabi, you do shows on a consistent basis in England. When you bought the company, when you and the Fertitta brothers bought the company 10 years ago, it was what was then called the sinking UFC ship. Did you have any inkling about the explosion that mixed martial arts was about to have in the world, and the UFC particularly?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously believed in this thing, and we thought that if we exposed it to the rest of the world, everybody would love it. The question always is the timing right? Did we have the right idea at the wrong time? Luckily, we had the right idea at the right time, and everything has worked out. And, you know, we continue to expand and bring this sport to tons of different people all over the world now.
And I got to ask you a little question. You touched on that. I don't know if it's a little question. You touched on it a little bit on the Q&A. If there's any fighter outside the UFC, that you want to bring into the organization, and you could choose from any fighter that you wanted, who would that be and why?
Well, if there was any fighter outside the UFC that I really wanted that bad, they'd be in the UFC, you know. And to be honest with you, there are some guys coming up that I'm probably going to be interested in. So we'll see what happens. You know, I'm not going to call them out because, you know, we want to get them. So we'll see what happens.
Upcoming event, UFC 123. Quinton Rampage Jackson is on that card against Lyoto Machida. You had a public falling out during when he went up and did the A-team instead of fighting Rashad in Memphis, right? How is your relationship with Rampage at this moment?
You know, it's good. It's not what it used to be. You know, we used to hang out all the time and stuff. I haven't seen Rampage in months, but you know, I don't think there's animosity, any animosity between us. I don't have any toward him, and I don't think he has any toward me, because he's just like me. It's not like he's one of those guys that's going to keep it quiet.
You feel as if though he's focusing 100% on the mixed martial arts career at this juncture in his life?
I really do. I think he's focused on this fight. This is a dangerous fight for both guys, and I guarantee you they're both very focused and training hard for this one. You know, believe it or not, you guys take things out of context sometimes, and you know, and stuff happens. But you know, Rashad and I talked right after that whole goofy incident.
Things are good?
Yeah, we're cool.
And
And me and Rashad fight sometimes. You know, we get into arguments, and you know, I do with all the guys. You're never going to be. Nothing's ever 100%. Hey, this is great. We're all the best. And you know, sometimes you're going to have different opinions and disagree on things. And you know, we're going to go out and say things, you know, publicly. But we try to patch them up behind the scenes.
Do you think March is realistic for Shogun's Nate?
Yeah, the thing is with Shogun, and he's had these knee problems before, and he got his knee done in Brazil, and then never did the therapy he was supposed to do, always tried to come back too soon. The guy who did his knee this time is the best. He might even be the best in the world. And Shogun's done all the right things, done the right rehab, taken time off, didn't come back training too soon. So everything's on schedule, and he's looking good.
I think the winner of Rampage Machida maybe faces the winner of that other fight, Shogun Evans.
I don't know. I gotta have these fights. Yeah. These fights.
But it's safe to say that they're in the mix, right?
Yeah, I mean, the 205-pound division is so stacked with so many great fights. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for this log jam to free up. You know, his knee is clogging this whole thing up. So once his knee is 100%, we're going to be putting on some sick 205-pound fights next year. Are you going to stick around and dust this place when we leave?
I have a question.